go ahead and call the meeting to order, and we need to elect a chair pro tem. And I see Zane
I
has
move
been nominated.
that we nominate Zane Boatwright.
So good.
2018 meeting. Thank you. Do I have a motion for approval of the minutes? I have a second. Okay. Any further discussion, amendments, or changes? Have a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Okay. Motion passes. All right. Number 2, we have. Are we going to do the? Okay, we'll do the financials. Okay, let's hear the financials, David.
You have in your packet your financials that are in its usual form. This is for the period ending March 31st, 2018. So on the revenue side for the month, we have $2,048,708. Fiscal year of $74,499,859. And for total program revenue of $821,608,253. On the expenditure side, for the month we have $6,638,176, fiscal year of $75,164,070, and total expenditures as of March 31st, 2018 of $391,882,395. I'd like to point out that $821 million is pretty much the number that we're going to be left with here, that we've arrived at. You might see some adjustments on the revenue side, like that 1.4 is just some adjustments and reallocations that have arrived. But since collections have ended at the end of last year and the lag period is over, this is pretty much the number. Then also you have your budget and obligations report in its usual form. A lot of construction going on right now. I can try to answer any questions if you have any.
Okay, do we have any further questions on the budget report? Since Mr. Mike Adams isn't here, do I have a motion to approve the report?
Also move.
Do I have a second? Second. Okay, any further discussion on the report? Take a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion carries. Minutes or the financial report is approved. That takes us on to item number 4.
Right. Item 4 is a presentation for the Upper Park, but the consultant has been detained temporarily, so I'd like to just move on and we'll come back to that.
Right. So that takes us on to item number 5, which is a recommended joint resolution approving change order number 3, amendment number 3, MAPS 3, Upper Park, increase $91,150.19, project M3-P006, WC0920. David?
As you said, this is change order 3 and amendment 3. A lot of construction going on in the park right now, and items come up as we do that. There is a water line modification. The tie-in for the water line out in Robinson was planned, and once they dug down there, they found out that the lines that were noted as 6-inch are actually 4-inch, and according to code, we have to bring those up to 6-inch to put a fire hydrant on them. So we had to do some changes there. There's some footings that needed altering. Playground fencing, gate revision change. Then there was a colored concrete change that's actually a credit of almost $78,000, and it was not necessary to do the colored concrete in some areas, so there was a savings on that. There's an electrical upgrade at the stage. Then as far as the amendment, and remember amendments are items that we already have items for and prices, so we have about $48,000 on water line modifications, and then some more concrete removal. You recall in the presentations that you've seen, we've had the concrete piers that we found in many places, but we continue to find footings and basements that are backfilled and they need to come out. So luckily we have a price for that removal, and we think that this is pretty much towards the end of that removal. So there's almost $51,000 for those removals. Park Subcommittee didn't have a quorum yesterday, but those in attendance recommended that this be approved.
Do we have a motion on the resolution? Do we have a second? Any further discussion or questions? Okay, let's move to a vote. All opposed, nay? Okay, the motion carries. Okay, so we're going to move back up to the presentation on item number 4, presentation of the MAPS 3 Upper Park, project M3P006.
So we have Gavin McMillan's here today to give you an update on the progress of the park. If you've driven by there, you've probably seen what's going on, but it's hard to see. The site's so big, it's hard to see in the middle and exactly get your head around everything that's going on. So Gavin will give us an update on some of this. So I'd like to turn it over to Gavin.
Thank you very much. I'm glad I stayed over an extra day to talk to you this morning. I always bring either snow or rain so far, but today is sunshine. Just to give you a quick update on construction progress, the park is proceeding as planned, and here's a photograph from the top of Vast looking back down earlier this month. You can see the oval there in the middle, the berm behind the oval taking shape, and behind it the lake being excavated. We're just comparing between the illustrations that were included in the PDR report all the way through to progress on site. Here we are looking down the Esplanade towards the promenade towards the Skydance Bridge, and the new building for the playground on the right there, taking shape. Here we are standing in what will be the future fountain. There's a lot of construction activity right here now with the underground vaults you can see there in the background. We are sitting underneath the boathouse looking at the lake. The building is almost completely enclosed now. And here's the steelwork in the shade with the bridge over the lake and the earthwork for the lake almost complete. Back on the boulevard with the cafe in the background there, the cafe slab is now poured. It's defining the northern edge of the park, and soon the steel masonry work will start on the cafe. Walking through what will be the woodlands, the general landscape areas are taking shape. All the utilities are mostly in the ground now. You can see conduiting and the light pole footings in place, and soon topsoil work will start on the northwest corner. Here we are standing on the oval, looking back towards the lake with Union Station in the background. Again, you can see the bridge there and the earthwork taking shape in the lake. Turning around the other way, looking back downtown, the stage, the field is now graded to final grades. The lighting for the oval is now up, the 6 lights that will be used to light the field at night is in place. The stage is now getting vertical. The enclosed space is almost complete, and the steel work will soon be starting. Here's some of the masonry work happening inside. The cafe slab's been poured now since this photo was taken, so it's proceeding as planned. The boathouse steelwork's almost complete. And the playground is just now starting to take shape with the construction of masonry walls, footings going in for the play structures. The play pavilion steel is now taking shape on both sides of the building. And one of the interesting aspects of the playground is a climbing wall, 8 feet high. And here it's curved and it's taking shape in terms of the formwork. And it's now poured and complete. This will be clad in stone and have cast climbing nodules for kids to climb up the wall. This is the fountain area, which was one of our adults, which was approved. And a substantial amount of plumbing here. You can see the underground vaults on the right-hand side, and the major pipe work now going in place. And soon this will all be backfilled, and then the electrical work to start on the fountain. And here's an interesting shot from Union Station and up in the tower, looking back towards downtown, the lake, edge of the lake there, and the bridge. The lake wall is all complete now. It's a beautiful curve, and soon the liner for the lake will be installed. A little bit of a pathway work underneath towards Robinson with the tunnel that goes underneath Robinson. And then OG&E, their actual servicing of utilities to the site is almost complete. We have our 4 transformer pads now in location, and they're almost complete servicing the site. So that's where we are. We presented to the subcommittee yesterday just the details of the change order and the amendments. David was talking about some of the things that we've done in terms of modifying utilities on Robinson, concrete work, removing buried concrete, a little bit of extra reinforcing for the stage ramp, playground fence modifications, a large deduct for colored concrete. We simplified the concrete coloring, so we ended up with a credit to the project in terms of our change orders, and then our amendments with the water line improvements for the fire hydrants along Robinson, and we hope the last of our buried concrete we've discovered along the way, which ends up on total amendment number 3. So this is our third change order and third amendment. We're 0.13% over our original bid price, and due to wet weather along the way, we're extending the completion date by another 3 days, which takes us to May 14th next year. So next month, we're halfway through construction of the park, so it'll be quite a milestone. So I'm happy to ask any questions.
Do we have any questions from the board? Okay, thank you very much. Now, do we need an amendment? Okay. Thank you very much. Good report. It's great seeing the progress. And that moves us on now to item number, is it 6 we're on to now? Recommend resolution approving amendment number 1, MAPS 3 Upper Park Tree Package, decrease of $16,797. David?
If you recall, we did procurement of the trees for the Upper Park separately so that we could get out ahead of them, get those trees in a location where they could start to acclimate to the weather, get them close by, and make sure they're taken care of. And part of that contract was these alley elm trees, and they've become virtually unavailable. They're very, very difficult to find. So we have some tree size revisions, and then we have some substitutions for those. Is item 2 in this change or this amendment. So it ends up being a net credit on the project, and we do not feel like it's going to substantially harm the project. We've worked with the landscape architect, the designer of the park, and we feel that it is a good way to remedy this situation.
Okay. Do we have any questions for David? Do I have a motion?
Move that.
Second? Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. That moves us to item number 7, recommend a resolution accepting MAPS 3 Lower Park Demolition Package 1, Project M3P014. David?
So this is the Lower Park Demolition Package, the first one that we put out. It's complete. It was really some of the smaller structures and miscellaneous things down there. If you've been down there lately, you see that all but one of the tenants are out. So it's evolving quickly in the lower park, but this is to accept the project as final for the demolition that has taken place so far.
Second.
Second, okay. Any further comments? Have a motion, or we have a motion, so let's take a vote. All in favor, say aye. 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 All opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you. That moves us to item number, which one are we on now? 8. Recommend resolution approving final specifications to be advertised for bid for the MAPS 3 Lower Park Demolition Package 2. Authorizing the city clerk to advertise for bids to be received on May 30, 2018, project M3P014A.
So this is a new demolition package. This is package 2. This will do the demolition for the remaining buildings down there. It will also take out all the fences, chunks of concrete, and I just want to make sure everybody understands that there will be a substantial number of trees that will be taken out because a lot of those trees are damaged through the years of ice and wind. Some of them have already lived their life. They're dying anyway, and a lot of them are grown up inside of fences and into buildings and stuff. So there's a little over 20 trees that we are salvaging within this project. But then we'll come back, as you just saw with the tree package on the upper park, we'll come back and replant the area.
Do we have any questions for David on that? Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Item number 9, recommend resolution approving change order number 16, MAPS 3 Senior Health and Wellness Center, number 2, increase of $13,216, project M3H003. David?
This should be our last change order for the Health and Wellness Center number 2. As we go through the final stages trying to get our certificate of occupancy, there's things that come up with the final inspections with fire marshal and with the health department and those kind of inspections. Some of these things have come up. They're relatively small, but they're just little housekeeping items that we need to take care of, and it ends up being $13,000, and it will be paid out of the project contingency.
Okay. Second. Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number 10, recommend a resolution of for approving change order number 13, amendment 16, MAPS 3 Trails Improvement, Phase 2, Project 1, I-44 West Will Rogers Trail, increase of $8,640, project M3T002A.
Similar to what I just discussed about the final aspects of the wellness center. The trail is open, but as people use it, we get comments and final inspections and then comments from the subcommittee, and that's where this came from, is they wanted to get some sort of a branding of the trail so that everybody knows that the trail is a MAPS trail and how it was constructed and where it came from. So we've come up with some basically large stickers. They're logos. They're the MAPS 3 logos, and they'll be placed on the trail in strategic places. They're very large. They're 5 foot by 8 foot. They're skid resistant. They've got about an 8 to 10 year life is what is expected on them. So that's to add that. And then the directional arrows are for some of the areas, specifically I remember at Reno and May, the trail comes up and turns west, and then it turns north, but there's still crosswalks that go across there, and make sure people understand where the trail is as opposed to just sidewalks and crossings. We have these arrows that show them this is the way to follow the trail. So that's what those arrows are for. And then we have, as you always see at the end of projects, the quantity adjustments, which ends up in a credit of $2,400. The trails and sidewalks didn't have a quorum, but those in attendance recommended approval.
Okay. Do we have any further questions?
Move approval.
A second. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item number 11, recommend resolution approving change order number 12 and amendment number 15, MAPS 3 Trails Improvement Project, Phase 2, Project 2, I-44 West Will Rogers Trail, decrease of $102,645.70, project M3T002.
Similar to what I just discussed, we have logo and directional arrows that will be added on this piece of the trail. Remember, we did the trails in thirds. So this adds the logo and directional arrows for this piece. And then there was a little area that needed some curb extension to stop some erosion and keep the dirt from getting on the trail. But the big item is the quantity revisions there, and it ends up being a credit of $117,405. So Carrie's passing out the sheet that shows you what those logos look like.
Second? Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Nay. Okay, item number 12, recommend resolution ratifying and approving amendment number 1, MAPS 3 Trail Improvements Phase 3, Project 2, Lake Draper Trail, awarding contract to C&P Integrated Services Incorporated, base bid plus alternates 1 and 2, in the amount of $2,824,944.20, and approving contract and bonds project M3T003A. David?
This is the Draper Trail. We have 2 sections already under construction. They're going hard and heavy out there at it, and this is to award that 3rd piece, so this will complete all the construction contracts that we need to get this thing complete. It came in under budget. It is the contractor who has another section of the project, so very happy to get going on this.
Any questions? Okay, I have a motion. I have a second. Okay, any further discussion? A vote. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Item number 13, recommend approval of engineering contract funding agreement utilizing MAPS 3 Trails funds and federal grants for the Grand Boulevard Trail, $161,850, project M3T004. David?
If you recall, the subcommittee and this body agreed that we would provide some matching funds for a grant to do some more trails. This is the contract to do that design. So we're very excited that we're able to leverage the money that we have into more with the grants and do more than what we just have.
Any further discussions? Okay, yeah, we have a motion. Motion, second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, nay. Okay, item number 14, recommend resolution approving budget allocation for equipment purchase, MAPS 3, Oklahoma River Phase 3, Whitewater Facility, not to exceed $46,820, project M3R004. David?
The River Subcommittee has essentially completed their charge. We've built the Whitewater Facility. We've done all the improvements down there. We still had about $46,000, almost $47,000 in the account. And in the same vein that we've continued to purchase equipment for the wellness centers, and we purchase equipment for the storage and maintenance facility, the operator at Whitewater suggested that we use this money to buy more equipment down there to help make his operation more efficient. I could go into a long story about how it was planned a certain way for visitors to come through the Whitewater facility, but it tends to be more in bigger waves instead of a steady flow. So sometimes equipment becomes short, helmets, paddles, flotation devices, getting them off of people in time to get them on people and keep them moving. Then there's also the patio equipment and things out there, that chairs, tables, things that they can use for people to sit that have family that's on the Whitewater, and just a lot of operational things. And it was suggested that we purchase these items. So the subcommittee, it comes recommended from the subcommittee, and now to you.
Any further discussion? Do I have a motion? Second? Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. This is item number 15, recommend resolution rescinding partial acceptance and approval of change order number 10, MAPS 3 streetcar storage and maintenance facility, increase of $69,558, project M3S006.
So as we start to go into operations and again getting the final inspections and things have come up on this facility that we would like to remedy. Like the security gate, it's wooden. We'd like to change it to steel. And a lot of this is evolving because we've never done something like this. As Embark goes through the training and the requirements that they have to do, with the FTA, things come to light that maybe instead of having a wood gate, we ought to have a steel one that's a little more robust. We have a dark spot back in the corner of the yard where we'd like to put another light. Knox boxes are things for the fire department. Additional window blinds, door closers, just a lot of things that will help make the facility better. Again, this comes out of the project budget and comes with the recommendation from the subcommittee.
Okay, any other discussion? Do I have a motion? A second? Any further discussion? Let's have a vote. All for, say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Okay, item number 16, recommend resolution approving change order number 10 and amendment number 9, MAPS 3 streetcar main line increase, $558,967.87, project M3S007. David?
You've probably seen that the streetcar is under construction. We have a lot going on. There's just hundreds of people working on this project, and these are things that come up as we go through construction. One of the main things is the foundations for the overhead catenary systems. As we go to dig these holes in downtown, there's so many things that are underground, utilities that no matter how much we try and identify, you can't identify exactly where they are until you start digging, and these poles have to get moved. Sometimes the holes get dug twice because they find something 6 feet down. Then there's additional concrete to replace, just a lot of things. But the good news is that they've only got about 20 more of these foundations to do. So the bulk of these foundations are done. The bulk of the utility relocations are done. I think we saw a graph yesterday, was it 99% of utilities are done. So as we get closer to the finish, our risk continues to go down with some of these things. But like I said, there's a lot going on with this project and a lot of things to deal with. This comes with the recommendation from the subcommittee.
Okay. Any further questions? Okay, let's do I have a motion for approval? Second? Okay, take a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. All right, motion passes. Okay, that brings us to new business. David, do we have any new business?
We don't have anything.
Okay. All right. It's time now that we could hear from the Citizen Advisory Board subcommittee reports. Anybody want to give a report on how their subcommittee's going?
I have some things to talk about for the park. As everyone knows, the Scissortail Park Foundation has been working on two components for the park to get it operation ready. One is the development of a logo, and the branding committee met with Staple Gun Advertising, who is the agency of choice, and a final logo is in the wrap-up stages. We are planning unveiling of that logo in June. And then also the Maureen Heffernan had put out requests for operators for the cafe, and there were several operators that responded. 3 of them were boiled down to final selection. The committee has met with them, and so hopefully next month we'll be able to announce an operator of the cafe. So things are moving well along. I'm really excited that our operator is on board ahead of time so that all of these things can be done, and certainly they're also working in marketing aspects. And I want to make sure that if you haven't become a friend of the Scissortail Park on Facebook, please do. They're doing a great job with posting a lot of the photos that you may not see in these presentations, but you can keep up to date with what's going on.
Okay, thank you, Kim. Yes.
I would like to say that we had our meeting. We didn't have a quorum of the River Committee, but we did hear that they're now having twice as many guides there, international guides for the summer, so that's great. So we've doubled, so hopefully have a good summer after 3 lousy weekends, the last 3 lousy weekends. And to also remind you, May 17th, Whitewater Festival, and they've been chosen as one of 3 sites in the country to do Olympic trials. So it's going to be exciting and a lot of fun, so be sure and come.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
Okay, any other reports?
I just wanted to remark that the open house for the streetcar went very well. I was surprised, very pleasantly surprised about the turnout. So many people that I figured I'd see a lot of familiar faces, you know, kind of the streetcar faithful, but there's a huge crowd, and I got great feedback from some of the citizens, and they're really thinking about how they are looking forward to using it. And actually got some feedback about maybe the naming, the nomenclature for the lines. The B line and D line might be a little bit confusing. So I want that citizen to know that her remarks actually may result in us rethinking how we're going to name these lines. But those are the kind of things. That's what I like about what we do, and get to hear, you know, from the experience of individuals in the city.
Thank you. That was an amazing turnout. Thank you, David, and the maps team.
I would like to, I think probably all of us got emails about the ribbon cutting ceremony for the Pete White Health and Wellness Center. It will be a week from tomorrow at 10 a.m. And we'd love for you guys to come on out and help celebrate that.
Thanks, Michael. That's right. Good that you pointed that out. I appreciate it. Any other feedback from any of the other subcommittees? Okay, then that brings us to any comments from our updated status, David?
I think we've covered everything today. You saw the work that's going on at the park. Streetcar continues. Trails and sidewalks continue at Draper and wrapping up the I-44. And as Mr. Dover said, the ribbon cutting on the 4th at 10 a.m. Encourage everybody, and I mean everybody, to be there for the Wellness Center. That's all I have.
At this time, do we have any other comments from the board or the staff?
I just wanted to put something, I know we've talked about it before as a board, and I think I missed the last meeting, so if I'm repeating something that's been said, forgive me, but one of the comments, some of the feedback from our committee yesterday was wondering about looking ahead at any other of that, you know, maybe the wish list items or any kind of continuance of our various projects. And so putting my hat on as a board member here, I wanted to bring this up because I think it's very timely. And one of the concerns that I share from yesterday was, you know, if there's an item that would be done by a contractor who's on location now, we would want to decide that now and not 6 months from now when that contractor's gone and you'd not have to kick up that process again and then maybe delay a project. So I do think it's timely for us. I know that it's been considered and that there might be some plans as far as how we're going to address that. But I wanted to maybe put something out there as a potential framework. I think one of our goals should be to let's go ahead and return some of the money to the taxpayers, or in the form of not spending it, perhaps. By my own estimate, I think there's maybe $100 or $120 million total between the over-collection and between program contingency and other savings. Rough estimate. I could be wrong by 20%, but you get the idea, somewhere around $100 million. Wouldn't it be great if one of our guiding principles could be that we underspend by 10 or 20 million, and then out of that, let's say 100 that's left, or 80 that's left, I would propose, or want us to consider, maybe half of that being allocated pro rata to all of the projects, and then the other half be discretionary for us to be considered at the board level. And of course, we would only do things that are good ideas, not just because we can. But I want to, start thinking about this myself. Like, how would we approach this? It's because obviously we have a big say in how that's done, along with city staff. And perhaps we should approach this really in the coming, meetings about how we want to address that formally, both on the committee level and the board level.
Thanks, Nathaniel. Michael, I know that you have addressed this a number of times where, you've wanted to have us start discussing and planning on how we're going to address this. So my question to David is, are all of the subcommittees beginning to plan their wish list to be brought before the board?
Not officially. The plan has always been, let's get the convention center bid and see where we are. That was bid yesterday. The bids were very favorable. We came in significantly under budget. The plan is, for me, is to start talking to the subcommittees in early summer, in June and July, about putting that together. We have not formalized anything with any of the subcommittees. There's been talk back, within subcommittees of various desires, and I know even this board has talked about it a couple of times, but that's coming real soon, now that we have that answer on the convention center.
Also, I'd like to bring us back to the part in time, and forget me because I don't remember exactly what month it was, but when the new bond package was being worked on, and the council was to decide whether millage would stay the same or whether the years would be expanded. Part of the presentation that was made were all of the MAPS projects and where they stood in collections and over collections, which I think fed into some of that decision, and then also the tax extension that goes into Better Streets, Better City. So as I recall that our city manager wanted to wait till all of the packages were built out and then readdress that whole subject as a whole, because there were some things that the council had talked about as possibilities, we had as subcommittee members and advisory board, so maybe we could bring that discussion to a closure and bring those ideas at that time.
Okay. Any other discussion? Is it this time that we take any questions or comments from the citizens? Does anybody want to come forward and make a presentation or ask any questions? Okay. If not, then that brings us to, I'm going to have a motion to adjourn, a second, and all in favor say aye. Aye. Meeting is adjourned.